Okay, good morning everybody. I'm going to be speaking English today because you're just going to be irritated hearing me speaking bad Norwegian. So I hope that's okay. Whoops.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
As it says there, I'm working at Varner in the digital media department. Varner consists of 12 different clothes chains. We have over 1,300 stores in 8 countries, so we're quite big. And last year we had a turnover of 10 million Norwegian krona. Sorry, 10 billion, little detail there. 10 billion Norwegian krona. We sell clothes and accessories. We mostly sell our own labels, but we also sell brands from other companies. Some of the shops are franchised, but mostly we own all the shops. Just like other companies, we have core values. We have 6 different core values, but basically they can be summed up with keep it simple. That's like the core value that we have. I work in Varner Retail, which is a support organisation for all the 12 chains. We aim to be centres of excellence for the company, and we serve the chains with our different specialisms. So the project department, they build all the new shops. They build 100 new shops plus or minus a year. The logistics department, they're responsible for moving over 1 million products around these 9 countries every year. As I said, I work in the digital media department, and the chains can choose to use us to build web solutions, or they can use external companies. They don't have to use us. All the editorial and marketing for the chains is done by the chains themselves, so we're not responsible for that. So what am I going to talk about today? A bit about our history, about our online backgrounds, our new e-commerce platform, a bit about the editorial experience, a bit about film and photo, customer satisfaction, and some of the initial results from our launch. We actually had an e-commerce site in 1999. Actually, we had 2, Dressman Cubus. They launched in 1999. But the clothes market wasn't really very mature then for online purchase of clothes, so it went really badly. In fact, it was pretty crap, I think. So Varner Group decided they weren't going to really concentrate on e-commerce, and they just concentrated on the physical shops for many years. And during that period, the technical capacity of the company, the nerds basically concentrated on better reporting systems, integrating ERP systems, that sort of thing. But in 2008, several of the chains, led by Cubus, they decided that they wanted to develop their web presence, albeit with just pure marketing sites. And so Varner Retail started a web group. I was the project leader there from 2008. And basically we've built slowly but surely 8-9 different websites on an EPI platform. And the main focus of these sites was to drive customers to the stores. We've built lots of different modules in EPI, built campaign sites, all sorts of things. We had lots to do for those 5 years. But in 2012, it was pretty clear that e-commerce had reached a turning point. Clothes and shoes were number 2 in the list of categories bought in Scandinavia of online products. And Varner Group basically had to make a decision, and we decided, okay, now the time is ripe to start working again with e-commerce. So 2013, we kicked off a double project, Cubus and Dressman Extra Large. Both sites had a soft launch at the end of October with a much harder test during the Christmas period. The sites aren't built as an enterprise solution. They're 2 parallel sites, but we've tried to utilize the synergies between the sites during the development. So if at any one point we need to separate them out for some reason or build different business logic, we can, which we couldn't do when we had an enterprise solution. The project was run by Varner Retail, so it was an in-house led project, but it was heavily supplemented by consultants, including Creuna, and they were used to fill our competence gaps for systems that we really didn't have experience in, like the product information management system in River and things like that. Okay, when we decided to start the project, one of the first dilemmas we faced was that Big Book, in 2012, they decided to go alone without Varner Retail, and they'd built an e-commerce site on a Hybris platform. So we faced a dilemma: should we just use that finished product that Hybris had built, that Big Book had built with Hybris, or should we use the EPI platform that we'd actually had 5 years of experience with? Well, since I'm here with EPI today, it's not really that hard to guess that we chose the EPI solution. And the reason we did that was because of the internal competence that we built in-house. That was the main reason. But also because of we felt that in Norway the EPI competence was much higher, and we had very good experience working with EPiServer, so we felt that was the most natural choice for us. This is the website from before the launch. We see the product page as the core of our site, and we also feel it's the core place that customers really make the decision whether to buy the products or not. And from 2008, we already had a page that basically looked like you could buy a product, and it was probably quite confusing for our customers because you couldn't. All you could do was add it to the wish list. And it's also understandable that we got a brief from the management of the company. Can't you just add a purchase button? Because that's all that was needed, right? You just need to add that and it's all fixed. But everyone who knows e-commerce knows that it's not that simple. All the different integrations that we had on the product page, which is the new product page, it looks quite like, but it's not. It's all a lot more work behind it. And going behind this is a solution we actually built. If we start with the M3, that's our economy, purchase and logistics system, which we use. Basic article data is transferred from M3 to InRiver to the EPiCommerce, the cash system or the cash register, and to the warehouse system. Aditro is the company we use there. We enrich product information in InRiver. We add product photos there, and we also have the possibility of steering all our price campaigns in InRiver. And a product automatically becomes saleable when it has a photo, it has a stock status at the warehouse, and it has a price. So it just comes out on the site, which has challenges as well. So one of the biggest challenges also, since we're taking all our information from M3, that was a place where the information wasn't visible before, so we were a bit unsure about the quality of the data, what it was going to be like when it came out directly on the site. And it turned out that, for example, the visualization of some of the sizes, like the bra sizes, the consultants that have been sitting and working with the bra sizes, they didn't realize that they weren't configured right. So it took an editor to realize, a female editor, to realize that they had to redo all the configuration of the sizes from M3. But to be honest, this is about as detailed drawing as we show at our head office. We have one of our representatives here from Dressman, and we don't like to go into too much detail about the specifics of the back end, because these are our editors. And their focus basically is not how we build the systems, but what they can do with the systems. So as architects of the websites, we're enablers. That is, our job is to build web pages that enable editors to show off the products, to help the customers to buy products, like Eirik was saying. And at the design level, we have to make the best usability so our customers can navigate hassle-free through the site on whatever device they want to use. And none of our editors have technical backgrounds, and their expertise is within marketing, fashion marketing, and not technique. But from years of experience, we know that these editors, they want to do everything without any technical limitations. And that, in fact, demands a complex and very flexible system, which we have to build. So how do we do that? So basically, the way we do it, cover Siddy's ears here, is that we don't tell them everything we've built until they're ready to expand their repertoire. We give them limited choices. We tell them that they have this, this, and this. And we have complex content blocks, for example, in the new site. But we present it in a very simple way so that the editors understand how they can build things. And they feel comfortable first at a low level and then expand their repertoire, as I say. And it also means that when they're ready to ask for new functionality, basically we've already built it, we just have to implement it. Another area where we've concentrated on regarding enabling content is photos. When we started in 2008, we had 5,000 product photos a year. Now we have 25,000 a year. That was last year. We probably have more this year. We have 3 photo studios in-house, and they're pretty much continually in use. We have now 4 photographers working full-time. The lifetime of fashion clothes is about 6 weeks, and the content on the web pages changes every 3 weeks because we're very campaign driven. And this is a big challenge for search engine optimization, especially on the old sites where we had almost no written content. But we've solved this to a certain extent now by using product information from InRiver, focusing on the metadata that we get there, and adding product properties to products which we didn't have before, and also by using shitloads of money on TV advertising. Okay, on the new Dressman Excel site, we also face problems regarding to product photos. Because we've been trying to save money in a way by using the same product photos for Dressman and Dressman Excel. And the big guys, they weren't really very happy with that because obviously they don't really have that type of form. So we took all new photos for the new site. We styled them in a way that people who are larger would understand and made the pictures much larger. So hopefully these guys will stop sending us complaints now. I think they have stopped. We also started experimenting with product video about 2 years ago. We film in our own studios. It's expensive, the equipment that we have to buy there, but it's worth doing. The features that we had on the old Cubus sites were easily transportable to the new Cubus site. I decided not to show these today. I'm not living a high-risk life. So, but it was easy transferable from the old CMS to the new CMS. And we'd show much more Dressman Excel videos as well, but we have real problem getting hold of big guys who either want to stand and be filmed, or we just can't get hold of them. So anyone who knows somebody who would like to do that, just a bit of extra advertising there. Yeah, the customer experience. So one of the big questions for us is how we can provide customers with the same level of satisfaction that they receive in Dressman and Dressman Excel shops. In the shops, we can guide the customer through the experience much more easily, especially male customers who need more help. I mean, the aim is for them to leave the shop feeling that they haven't had to think too much. That's the same sort of experience we want to convert to web. So the question is how to define in an online context what is customer satisfaction. So on the Dressman Excel project, we decided that we would define customer satisfaction as being when customers were so satisfied with what they'd ordered and received. We didn't stop with just the online experience, but when they'd actually received products that they didn't have to return anything. So basically we said we didn't want any returns. That's basically customer satisfaction. So to challenge ourselves to achieve this, we made all returns free of charge. Before they had to pay 249 kronas, now they got it free. So we wanted to measure number of returns as an indication of customer satisfaction. But traditionally, clothes and shoes online are the most difficult products to make customers satisfied with. They always come down at the bottom of the satisfaction charts. So we identified 3 main areas which we wanted to focus on. The aim was to reduce returns to make customers more satisfied. So this was the measurement chart. We talk about sizing. The measurement chart that Dressman Excel and Dressman Today actually present to their customers to try and help them order clothes of the right size. And you have to be quite interested in the products to understand this chart. So what we did on the new site, we divided up the charts into different categories. We tried to make it more understandable. But probably one of the main ways we concluded we can make customers get the right sizes, no one's going to read these charts, no one's going to click them, people can't be bothered to measure themselves, is to basically standardize the size of the clothes to a much greater degree than we already do. And this is a real challenge because, for example, in the category blazers, Dressman Excel has 4 different suppliers. And when you have 4 different suppliers, it's very difficult to standardize how they're making things. And basically, the only way to reduce the number of suppliers, or if you reduce the number of suppliers, you increase risk, and it's often not that profitable because they don't compete against each other anymore. But the purchasing department at Dressman and Dressman Excel, they're really taking this seriously now. So they have a project group that's now working on standardizing sizes to a much greater degree. They've really taken this issue and are working on it. The second thing we felt we wanted to concentrate on was the touch and feel of the products, making customers be able to see how are the products made. So there's no surprises when they get the products. So we've taken much more detailed photos than we had before, which we hope will encourage purchase and reduce returns. The third way we thought we'd reduce returns was better product information. And by using InRiver, we have a super simple sort of checkbox solution, so the editors don't have to sit and type in all the product information themselves, which they basically couldn't be bothered to do before. So while we were researching the Dressman Excel site, we talked to some big guys, and one of the things they told us was that they really like Dressman belts because they don't make any noise when they go through airport security. And we sort of thought, yeah, well, no one likes that. But for them, it's like a really big issue because they can just about get these belts off. They can pull them off, but no one can help them get them back on again while they're standing there. So it was a really big deal for them to know if their belts made any noise through the security. So we have that now as a product property. But now we just have, the problem is now we have to go to the airport and test all the belts. So we haven't done that yet. So how did it go? Did we manage to make 0 returns? Well, we didn't, but we've reduced the returns already by 1 to 2%. They weren't very high from before because the customers had to pay for returns. So we're on the way and we're sort of happy, but we want to do better. The first thing we have to evaluate is the idea of having free returns because we see the customers now order 1 or 2 sizes of the same product when they order. And then we have to weigh that up against would they have ordered if they didn't have the choice of free returns. And our conversion rate on the site is very high. It's over benchmark for the branch. So, you know, this is going to be really hard to test. And we may have to say that we're satisfied with slightly reduced returns rather than zero returns. Cubus customers, they pay for their returns and they have a much lower return rate, but they also have return to their shops, and they have hundreds of shops. Basically, you can't really come anywhere that doesn't have a Cubus shop. So this is also an element of the equation which we have to test. And basically, the only way we can really do it is test and see what customers like. So A/B testing, R-bear testing is what we're working on next. So other feedback from our project. Positive things. We've had good feedback regarding usability and design. Conversion basically talks louder than everything else, and we have good conversion on the sites. We've made responsive sites, so they work really well on mobile, iPad and desktop. We're happy with that. The editors haven't actually asked for any new functionality yet, so we guess they're quite happy with what they've got. We're pleased the way the back-end teams, the consultants and our own in-house system work together. We're definitely pleased with the fact that we built 2 sites at the same time because there were synergies between all the sites. And we launched on time without any major hiccups. But it's always more fun to talk about what went wrong. And as everyone knows, the devil is in the details. So the devil basically influenced 3 main areas: integration, back-end issues and logistics, not surprisingly. Yeah. Integrations, yeah. It's not surprising integrations go wrong because there's so many details. We had 10 different integrations across the sites, so there was lots of potential for mistakes. And we've spent most time the last few months improving these. Nothing has been critical, but as I say, it's the details. And the first indication we got of synchronization problems was when Cubus launched their Christmas calendar on the 1st of December. Because at each night at 12 o'clock, we had price information, campaign material, and the products all had to change, synchronized at exactly 12 o'clock, because they had really heavy advertising all through the night as well, and it couldn't change at different times. So basically, the first week of December, the editors of Cubus basically were sitting up at midnight, checking that all the synchronizations were working as they should and having to correct things. Also, part of the reason was that we had really heavy caching, the indexing of all the products, combined with a bit of a dodgy in-river connection. It meant that it all had to be worked on. And so we've managed to correct most of that, so the last 3 weeks of December went much better for these editors and they got some sleep. Other integration problems were based on the fact that we just didn't have time to prioritize everything. You can't prioritize everything highest. And for example, the integration around delivery places, it was fine in the central areas where we tested most things, but there were a few way out places like islands off Bergen and Sweden, the whole country Sweden, that we hadn't tested so well, so we had some tracking issues there that we had to sort out. We also had some integration problems with nets. One of the things was that when a customer ordered with an invoice from Sweden, if anyone changed anything on the nets page, which was easy to do because it wasn't locked, if they changed the information from Folkeregister, then the whole sale got aborted and they got sent back again to zero without any information about it, why things had been aborted. And that was just fixed with one line of descriptive text on nets, just telling them, do not touch this information, it's not your delivery information. And it stopped the same day, so that went fine. So lots of things that were easy to fix, but it's just a matter of the number, the volumes that had to be got through. So we've had 2 main releases since we launched, and most of the integration problems have been fixed there. Other back-end issues we had were basically the pure challenge of having so many campaigns. Both Dressman and Cubus are campaign-driven organizations. And we basically dealt with this by starting small scale, adding more and more campaigns to the portfolio, but everything has to be tested together, and we have coupons via EPiCommerce, we have campaigns in River, we have prices from M3 that all have to be coordinated and they all have to work together and tested, and we just had to do this as they turned up. And not least it's a design and usability question, because we have to communicate to customers which of the campaigns they can choose at any one time. So we're still working on this to make it really better. Plus the editors, they came up with all sorts of campaigns that we hadn't thought of. 24 socks for And we have the checkout. We have the whole of our checkout logic on one page. And because of this, we had to tweak the capacity quite heavily when Cubus had their hard launch, because they pulled out all the plugs. We had amazing number of hits, and EPiServer were very helpful when we realized the things had gone wrong, and within a day we'd already fixed the capacity issues there. But basically it shows that, you know, when really these problems occur, you have to get help from the experts. Logistics, this pair of 9XL trousers from Dressman XL. With our logistics supplier, we've had different issues, starting with the pure time it took to unpack all the Cubus goods. It took 3 weeks. They'd expected 3 days. And basically making sure any sort of routine, any manual routines were followed. Anything that's manual always takes longer and has the possibility of going wrong. There was also tweaking that needed between the integrations, especially around stock balance. Plus the fact that Dressman XL in their old website, they shipped from a physical shop, and that meant they had enormous flexibility for basically doing what they wanted back end. And for them going over to an external logistics supplier, that was a bit of a shock, because it had to be much more routine, much more predefined the way things work. So it wasn't always positive for them to being able to not have hands-on on the logistics solution. Browser issues, we haven't really had any browser issues, apart from the fact that it turned out that Internet Explorer 7 was more popular than we realized. We hadn't even tested for that at all, and we didn't think anyone could actually buy on it, but we see we've got conversion there, so that was interesting. But basically everything's gone pretty well, and we feel that we can give ourselves sort of a pat on the back. And so what's next for us? Well, it's not this at least. We're still concentrating on the core basic elements of the purchasing process and trying to understand them to achieve high customer satisfaction and try to optimize our return on our investment. For us, it means getting our own house in order first, ensuring we standardize sizes, simplify business processes across all channels before we start introducing really highly sophisticated, fancy solutions. We're concentrating on making the most important pages, such as the checkout, more robust, basically improving usability where we can, and simplifying wherever possible. What we're working on now is adding number of countries, number of brands. So we're going to be working on Finland for Dressman XL within the next few months. We're going to be launching Dressman's web pages on the same platform in the autumn. So basically it's just business as usual, continuing tweaking. Okay, what we've learned. Our Varner motto, keep it simple. It should and can be transformed to the online solutions. Just basically emphasizing what Eric said, that our most important job is to enable customers to buy online and not to get distracted from that task, because it's very easy when you're surrounded by a technical solution all the time. The best way to do this is to start small scale, grow in modular solutions, and test really thoroughly before you go on to the next stage. We have the aim that our e-commerce site should be earning money from day one. So all continual or all future investment that we do should be self-financing, and that's what we've actually done. So all development we do now is self-financing from the web shops. And we have to have reasonably basic standardized modules to start with, but we have to use a solution like EPI that can easily be customized, because we don't want to have to build a whole website again just because we want new flexibility. And to do a really good job building the solutions, we need to own and we need to understand them ourselves. We need to have that in-house competence. We wouldn't have been able to build 2 websites in 8 months without that. But on the other hand, it's really important to get the balance right. Because because it's going to be when the shit hits the fan, you really need to call in external competence with highly based skills that can help you, and you can't do that if they haven't been involved with building the solution. So it's really important to get the right balance there between ownership and having experts know your site. And the last point is that organisational e-consciousness, again what Erik was talking about, it will come, but it comes when the site is less theoretical and more visible, and it's not least when the money starts rolling in, then you get attention. So yeah, that's my presentation, so hope that's been of some interest.